I first heard of Ron Wayne through Steve Jobs. We were going to try to start a company. We were very young, in our young 20s, no business background. How do you even start a company, you know? And Steve said, well, he'd run into this guy, Ron Wayne, at Atari, and he was an adult. He'd been around the block. He'd been in companies that had stock.
They were members of a computer club where they were taking business computers and converting them into personal computers. But Wozniak had a different idea, and he sat down and designed an extremely efficient, dedicated personal computer. It wasn't that he built a personal computer, but it was the circuit design with its efficiency of components. And Jobs approached me. He says, look, I'm having this problem with this friend of mine I've known for years, and maybe you can explain it to him and he'll understand. He viewed me as a kind of a diplomat in that situation. You know what a diplomat is? That's a guy that can tell you to go to hell in a way that makes you look forward to the trip. Well, this was not Jobs. Jobs was never the diplomat. So I said, sure, fine, I'll talk with him and just bring him over to the apartment and we'll sit down and have a chat.
I can't remember if Steve was driving or I was. I think Steve was, and he drove us to an apartment, and there was Ron Wayne, and we went inside, and he was talking a lot, and he was referring to books even. I later realized, I didn't know it then, I was young and naive, he was arch libertarian type, you know, into like total freedom for people, free from bonds of government, you know, and he read books like None Dare Call It Treason, kind of ultra conservative as well as libertarian stuff. But I don't care about that. I don't care about that in any person at all. He had answers. He knew about companies that had deprived you of stock options and things like that, and he wanted the world to be honest and upright and fair. And whoa, this guy could just talk like he knew things. And Steve and I were both, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? I mean, where do we go?
So we got together in an evening, and it took about 45 minutes to get the understanding across. The problem was that Wozniak was very parental about the circuits that he had designed. And he wanted to reserve the right to use some of these circuits in other applications. And Jobs was telling me, you can't do that. These circuits would be proprietary to any company we'd put together, and you can't just hand them around to other applications. And laying it out for him in a rational way, and Woz picked it up essentially on the first bounce. He understood. Okay, fine. The problem was dissolved. And it was at that point, absolutely that moment in time, when Jobs jumped up and said, that's it, we're going to form a company.
And he sat down on a typewriter even and typed up a partnership agreement. And it sounds like it came from a lawyer, you know, the wherewithals and all that. I mean, the wording that lawyers use, I'm not a lawyer, so I couldn't say what it is, but I was just totally in amazement. And Steve was the one who said, well, he and I would each have 45%, Ron Wayne would have 10%, and then if Steve and I ever disagreed, Ron was the decider. So he was the adult in the family.